You could be doing everything right, drinking enough water, going to bed at a reasonable hour, and still waking up at 2 in the morning needing the bathroom. Most people blame their bladder. Almost none of them realize the real cause started 12 hours earlier, in a decision they made without even thinking about it. Here's what nobody tells you. The glass of water you drink at 9 at night is rarely the actual problem. The real disruption happens in 3 places you'd never suspect. 1 is a hormone shift most people have never heard of. 1 is a timing mistake almost everyone makes without realizing it. And the last one has nothing to do with drinking at all. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly which of these 3 is sabotaging your sleep, and more importantly, what to do about each one starting tonight. Let's start with your body's own internal clock, because your kidneys don't behave the same way at night as they do during the day. In the evening, a hormone called vasopressin rises in your bloodstream. Its entire purpose is to tell your kidneys to slow down, concentrate the urine they produce, and give your bladder several hours of rest while you sleep. This is a built-in mechanism, not something you have to force. But it can be overridden. If you drink a large amount of fluid in the 2 to 3 hours before bed, you're fighting directly against that hormone. Your kidneys keep producing urine even as your body is trying to power down, and your bladder fills faster than your brain can suppress the urge to wake you. This matters more the older you get, and here's why. Vasopressin production naturally decreases with age. The same evening habit that caused 0 issues in your 30s can be enough to pull you out of sleep in your 60s or 70s. This isn't your body failing you. It's a predictable shift, which means the fix isn't complicated. It's about adjusting to a system that has quietly changed. Now here's where it gets more interesting, because the mistake most people make isn't really about how much they drink at night. It's about what they do earlier in the day. Think about your own pattern for a moment. Do you drink very little in the morning, a bit more at lunch, and then find yourself reaching for water, tea, or juice throughout the evening? If that sounds familiar, you're unintentionally working against your own biology. Your kidneys process fluid most efficiently during the active hours of the day, roughly morning through early afternoon. If the bulk of your daily water intake happens during that window, your bladder does most of its work while you're awake and upright. By the time you go to bed, there's simply very little left for your body to deal with. Flip that pattern, and you're asking your kidneys to process a heavy fluid load right when they're biologically trying to slow everything down. But even if you fix both of those things, timing your water intake and cutting off fluids before bed, there's a third factor that catches almost everyone off guard, and it has nothing to do with drinking at all. It's sodium. A diet higher in salt causes your body to retain extra fluid during the day, often quietly, in the tissue of your lower legs. You might never notice any visible swelling, but that fluid is there, held in place by gravity as long as you're upright. The moment you lie down at night, gravity stops working in your favor. That stored fluid redistributes upward, moves back into your bloodstream, travels to your kidneys, and gets filtered directly into your bladder. This is the piece that explains something confusing for a lot of people. You can feel completely fine going to bed, not even thirsty, and still find yourself urgently needing the bathroom within the first hour or 2 of sleep. That urgency has almost nothing to do with what you drank that evening. It's fluid your legs had been holding on to all day, finally arriving where it doesn't belong, at exactly the wrong time. This is also the piece most people never think to address because it doesn't feel connected to bathroom habits at all. Reducing sodium, especially from processed foods, canned soups, deli meats, and restaurant meals, limits how much fluid your body stores in the first place. And elevating your legs for even 30 minutes in the late afternoon before dinner gives that stored fluid a chance to move back into circulation while you're still upright. Your body processes it during the day instead of ambushing your bladder at night. None of these 3 things work well alone. That's the part that changes everything once you see it. Front-loading your water earlier in the day means less fluid is left to manage by evening. A firm cutoff 2 to 3 hours before bed gives your vasopressin system room to actually do its job. And managing sodium, paired with brief leg elevation, prevents that hidden reservoir from flooding your bladder the second you lie flat. Together, these 3 habits attack the problem from 3 different directions, instead of leaving you dependent on one fragile fix that only sometimes works. So here's where to start tonight. Move most of your water intake earlier in the day, ideally before mid-afternoon. Set a firm stopping point for fluids 2 to 3 hours before your usual bedtime, and keep that last drink small. And pay closer attention to your sodium, particularly from packaged and processed foods, since it's usually far higher than people assume. Waking up at night isn't something you simply have to live with as you get older. In most cases, it isn't your bladder malfunctioning at all. It's a sign that your body's fluid rhythm has drifted out of sync with when and how you're feeding it. Realign those 2 things, and for most people, a full night of uninterrupted sleep stops being something they hope for and becomes something they can actually expect again.